My name is Grayson, and I've always believed in small acts of kindness. Every morning on my way to work, I'd pass this homeless man sitting outside the coffee shop on 5th Street. I'd drop a few dollars in his cup, exchange a quick, "have a good day," and head into my tech startup's office building. For 2 years, this was my routine. The man, weathered face, kind eyes, always wrapped in a faded gray coat, would nod gratefully. I ran Data Stream Solutions with my business partner, Marcus Chen. We'd built the company from nothing, and after 5 years, we were finally turning serious profit. One Tuesday morning, everything changed. I approached the homeless man as usual, pulling out my wallet. "Morning," I said, fishing for a $5 bill. His hand shot out and grabbed my wrist. Hard. "Mr. Grayson," he whispered urgently, his eyes sharp and alert in a way I'd never seen before. "Your partner Marcus is stealing from you. He's been embezzling for 18 months, and he's setting you up to take the fall." I froze. "What? How do you know my name? How?" "I'm Robert Castellano," he said quietly, glancing around. "I used to be a forensic accountant before I lost everything in a divorce. I've been watching the people in this building for months. Your partner comes out every Friday, makes calls he thinks nobody hears. I heard enough to piece it together." "That's insane," I said, pulling my arm back. "Marcus and I have been friends since college. We built this company together." "Check your offshore accounts," Robert said. "The ones in the Cayman Islands that you don't know exist. Your signature has been forged on dozens of documents. He's moving money, creating a paper trail that leads straight to you." My heart pounded. "Why should I believe you?" "Because in 3 weeks, the IRS is going to show up at your door," Robert said. "And you're going to prison while Marcus walks away with everything. Unless you act now." I stared at him. His eyes were clear, focused, intelligent. This wasn't the rambling of someone confused or mentally ill. "What do I do?" I asked. "You hire a real forensic accountant," Robert said. "Someone who can dig into your books before the feds do, and you don't let Marcus know you suspect anything." "Why are you helping me?" Robert's expression hardened. "Because I watched my partner do the same thing to me 15 years ago. I lost my business, my reputation, my family. I've been living on these streets ever since. I'm not letting another good person go down like I did." I pulled out my phone. "What's your full name again?" "Robert Castellano. I was a CPA for 23 years. "Come with me," I said. "I'm buying you breakfast, and you're telling me everything you know." For the first time in what must have been years, Robert smiled. 3 hours later, Robert and I sat in a hotel room I'd rented specifically for this conversation. I'd bought him a meal, and he'd walked me through everything he'd overheard. "Marcus meets with someone named Vincent every Friday at 2 p.m., Robert explained. "They sit in that park across from your building. Last week, I heard Marcus say, 'The forensic trail is perfect. When the audit happens, every transaction points to Grayson. I'll act shocked, cooperate fully, and take over as sole owner.'" My stomach churned. "I need proof." "That's where a professional comes in," Robert said. I made a call to Sarah Mitchell, a forensic accountant my lawyer had once mentioned. She had a reputation for finding financial crimes others missed. Sarah arrived at the hotel within 2 hours. Sharp-suited, mid-40s, with an intensity that reminded me why she was the best. "Tell me everything," she said, setting up her laptop. I explained the situation. Sarah listened, took notes, and asked questions. "Can you get me access to your company's full financial records?" she asked. "I'm the co-owner," I said. "I have access to everything." "Good. Don't tell Marcus. Don't change your behavior around him at all. Can you do that?" "I've been doing it all day," I said. "We had lunch. I acted normal." "Perfect," Sarah said. "Give me 72 hours." Those 3 days were torture. I went to work, smiled at Marcus, discussed quarterly projections, and pretended everything was fine. Marcus seemed relaxed, confident, occasionally checking his phone and grinning. On Friday, Sarah called. "Meet me at your hotel. Bring Robert. You're going to want to hear this." When we arrived, Sarah had spreadsheets covering the entire desk. "Your instincts were right," she said. "Marcus has embezzled $2.3 million over 18 months. He created shell companies, forged your signatures on transfer authorizations, and built an elaborate trail suggesting you were hiding assets offshore." "Show me," I said. Sarah walked us through it. Falsified contracts, forged signatures on bank documents, fake email accounts made to look like mine, wire transfers to accounts in my name, accounts I'd never opened.
"Here's the beautiful part," Sarah said. "He got sloppy. 6 weeks ago, he used his personal laptop to access one of the shell company accounts. The IP address is registered to his home. And he made 3 transactions using his actual phone number as a verification method." "Can we prove it was him?" Robert asked. "Already did," Sarah said. "I've documented everything. Bank records, IP logs, phone records, the works. I also found text messages between Marcus and Vincent Rivera, his accomplice who's been helping create the false documentation." "What do I do?" I asked. "You have 2 options," Sarah said. "Go to the FBI now, or confront Marcus and force him to confess on record." "I want to see his face when he realizes I know," I said. Robert nodded. "Make him think he's won first, then pull the rug out." Sarah smiled. "I like the way you think." I scheduled an emergency board meeting for Monday morning, claiming we needed to discuss an exciting acquisition opportunity. Our board consisted of me, Marcus, and 3 investors. Marcus arrived confident, even cocky. "What's this acquisition you're so excited about?" "I'll explain when everyone's here," I said calmly. Once the board assembled, I stood up. Sarah entered the room carrying a briefcase. "Everyone, this is Sarah Mitchell, forensic accountant," I said. "I hired her last week to conduct an internal audit." Marcus's face went white. "What? Why wasn't I informed?" "Because you're the reason I hired her," I said evenly. "Sarah, please present your findings." Sarah opened her briefcase, distributing bound reports to each board member. Over the past 18 months, $2.3 million has been systematically embezzled from DataStream Solutions. The perpetrator created shell companies, forged documents, and attempted to frame Mr. Grayson for the theft. "This is ridiculous," Marcus sputtered. "Grayson, what are you doing?" "I'm showing everyone the truth," I said. "Page 12, everyone. Those are forged documents with my signature. Page 15 shows the IP addresses used to access the offshore accounts, all traced to Marcus's home and devices." One of our investors, Margaret, looked up sharply. "Marcus, is this true?" "It's a misunderstanding," Marcus said desperately. "There's got to be an explanation." "Page 23, I continued. Text messages between you and Vincent Rivera discussing how to make the forensic trail perfect and how you'd take over as sole owner after I went to prison." The room went silent. "You've been planning this for 18 months, I said, my voice cold. "You were going to destroy me, take everything we built, and let me rot in federal prison." Marcus stood up. "You can't prove I meant—" "Actually, I can," Sarah interrupted. "I've already provided all of this to the FBI. Agents are waiting outside. This meeting is also being recorded for legal purposes." Marcus's face crumbled. "Grayson, please, we're friends. We can work this out." "Friends don't frame friends for felonies," I said. "You're done, Marcus." The conference room door opened. 2 FBI agents entered. "Marcus Chen?" one asked. "Yes," Marcus whispered. "You're under arrest for wire fraud, embezzlement, and identity theft." They read him his rights while Marcus stared at me, tears streaming down his face. "Please," he begged. "I'm sorry. I was desperate. I have debts." Save it for your lawyer, I said. They led him out in handcuffs. The trial lasted 9 months. On sentencing day, I sat in the courtroom as the judge reviewed the case. Mr. Chen, do you have anything to say before I impose sentence? The judge asked. Marcus stood, his lawyer beside him. Your Honor, I made terrible mistakes. I was drowning in debt. I never meant for things to go this far. Grayson and I were friends. Were friends, I said quietly to Sarah, who sat beside me. The judge cut Marcus off. Mr. Chen, you didn't make mistakes. You executed an elaborate 18-month conspiracy to defraud your partner and send an innocent man to prison. The court sentences you to 8 years in federal prison, followed by 3 years supervised release. Marcus's knees buckled. His lawyer caught him. Outside the courthouse, Robert waited on the steps. 8 years, I told him. Good, Robert said. That's real justice. I have a proposition for you, I said. How would you feel about coming to work for DataStream? We need an internal financial advisor. Robert's eyes widened. Grayson, I've been homeless for 15 years, I know. But you saved my company. You saved my life. You're still a brilliant accountant. What do you say? I don't know what to say, Robert said, his voice cracking. Say yes, I replied. We'll start you at $85,000 a year, full benefits. Robert grabbed my hand and shook it firmly. Yes, thank you. I won't let you down. I know you won't.
3 months later, I sat in my office when my assistant buzzed in. Grayson, there's another letter from Marcus Chen. Should I? Return it unopened, I said. Same as the others. Robert walked in, overhearing. How many has he sent? 12, I said. Apologies, explanations, requests for forgiveness. I haven't read a single one. Good, Robert said, settling into a chair. I made that mistake with my old partner. I forgave him, tried to move on. He used my forgiveness to manipulate me further. Exactly, I said. Marcus had 18 months to come clean. He chose not to. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Hello? Grayson, it's Marcus. Please don't hang up. I ended the call and blocked the number. Marcus? Robert asked. Not anymore, I said. Margaret, our lead investor, visited the office the next week. She knocked on my open door. Got a minute? Always. Come in. She sat down, looking serious. I heard Marcus has been trying to contact you. He has. I've refused every attempt. Good, she said firmly. I wanted to make sure you weren't wavering. Some people think forgiveness is always the answer. Some people are wrong, I said. Marcus tried to destroy my life. He doesn't get a second chance. That's what I hoped you'd say, Margaret replied. We're increasing our investment in DataStream by another $2 million. Your integrity during this crisis proved you're the kind of leader we want to back. Thank you, Margaret. That means everything. After she left, Robert returned with coffee. The company's doing well. Better than ever, I said. Revenue's up 40% since Marcus left. Turns out honesty is good for business, Robert said with a smile. How are things with your daughter? I asked. We had dinner last night, Robert said. First time in 12 years. She said she's proud of me for rebuilding my life. I'm proud of you too, I said. Robert looked out the window. You know, if I hadn't been sitting on that street corner, if you hadn't been kind enough to give me change every day, none of this would have happened. You'd be in prison. And you'd still be homeless, I said. We saved each other. Justice and revenge aren't the same thing, Robert said thoughtfully. No, they're not, I agreed. I exposed the truth. The system handled the rest. But watching Marcus lose everything he tried to steal, that was satisfying. The best part is you didn't have to get your hands dirty, Robert said. His own crimes destroyed him. Exactly, I said. That's how it should be. Have you ever discovered someone you trusted was planning to betray you? How did you handle it? Sometimes the people closest to us are the ones we need to watch most carefully. Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.